Read all the stories about BYU sports no one else has heard. Go to KSLSports.com for exclusive columns by BYU insider Mitch Harper. That's KSLSports.com.
All right, everybody, welcome back. 1st and 12, right here on a Sunday morning. Thanks for being with us. Alex, Kirry, Mitch Harper. Yes, you can hear Mitch Harper on Cougar Sports Saturday. Cougar, what are you guys tomorrow night? Taking phone calls from the happiest fan base in all of the Big 12? Is that what's going on?
Actually, Tuesday night. We've got a
you're going to move around
on Monday. So we'll be on Tuesday night at 6 o'clock. So
my favorite, getting booted for politics. It's good.
Yeah.
It's all good.
That's sometimes on news radio we gotta
get
booted
the time
for
of
politics.
the year. It's the time of the year. It's that season.
It's a real time. It's a real struggle this time of the year.
Don't do it, Mitch.
Politics. It's true.
I'm not gonna go down there. You can't keep going. Gus Johnson. That's what I'm gonna miss this week. We gotta have Gus Johnson doing more BYU and Utah games, man. Oh, that'll be a good one though. I don't know what that BYU and Utah game is gonna be. Do we know what that's going to be broadcast on on November 9th? Do we have any?
Well,
idea?
I know Gus Johnson, and he's a dear friend of mine.
Good guy. He's a good guy.
I put in some calls, but no, I would imagine if BYU keeps winning, that you got to think maybe Big Noon could be in the cards. Maybe maybe a Fox game. I think that because it's a rivalry, it's one of the few games in this league where, regardless of Utah's record, whatever the records are, it's going to
give some preference
be a
to
big
it,
deal. So, and putting the game in that weird November 9th date, I think the TV network's got to deliver a marquee TV window because you don't put it on November 9th unless it's going to deliver a big TV audience. That was the plan all along. So I have to think now with BYU, if they stay undefeated, that could be something pretty big. So I'm curious to see that as well. We'll find out here in a couple of weeks when BYU and Utah kick off and what TV network. We'll find out the Week 9 schedule coming up tomorrow. So BYU, UCF, and games like that. But Week 8 schedule around the Big 12 Conference this week starts early with a Friday night game. BYU back in action at home. Going to host Oklahoma State, so the Vampire Cougs roll out at 8:15, and it's going to be cold.
Yes, it will.
Temperatures in the 30s coming up this Friday night, so bundle up. But the Cougs going to host the Pokes with revenge on the mind after last year's loss in Stillwater.
Yeah, you go from the bye week where you have all the time in the world to prepare to a short week, which is what BYU is going to have to figure out. And Oklahoma State's coming off of a bye week, so we'll see how they do. And it would be just like Mike Gundy to show up and give the absolute, just go right at Kalani and those guys. And so you can guarantee BYU is going to be ready for that one because they cannot have a letdown of any kind. They got to keep it rolling. Arizona State goes to Cincinnati. You pointed this out, Mitch. This is one of the games you were really excited about when Arizona State came to the league. I can't wait for them to play Cincinnati over there in Cincinnati.
That's where this 16-team league, and I've loved it so far this year. But it's matchups like that where
it gets weird.
This is really weird. Like that.
It's your
Skyline Chili and Mill Avenue.
It's your Washington at Rutgers Big Ten matchup where you go, oh, of course, this old game, right?
Yeah.
Houston at Kansas. I don't even know what These are two of the worst teams in the entire league, and I could still see Houston showing up and going, we got nothing to lose. Let's go beat Kansas and Lawrence, man.
I think I would pick Houston in that game. Colorado at Arizona, two teams that looking to bounce back, 2 p.m. on Fox. Coach Prime, doesn't matter if he loses. They're just always getting the marquee TV windows. But Arizona, they're struggling. They can't, punch it in the end zone. The last 2 weeks, they get down the field, but then they stall. So let's see how they fare against Colorado. We'll be monitoring Travis Hunter's status, too, as that's huge for the Buffs going forward. If they don't have Travis Hunter, they don't have a prayer against anyone, in my opinion. So they've got to get him back for his Heisman hopes, but also for their team to, bounce back from the loss and try to get in that Big 12 title race.
Battle in the state of Texas between Baylor going to Lubbock and Texas Tech. And, of course, Baylor is that wounded dog trying to figure their lives out. They're coming off the bye week, and Texas Tech is as well. Texas Tech is undefeated in league play, weirdly enough. UCF goes to Iowa State. I don't know. I mean, UCF is just an absolute head-scratcher right now, and you just have to imagine that Iowa State is the picture of consistency, which UCF is not.
That I agree with. And Kansas State, are they just always on the road in Big 12 play?
It seems weird. West Virginia is hosting everybody these days, doesn't it? Like,
it really feels like that. Like that. Kansas State going to host West Virginia going to host Kansas State 5:30 p.m. next Saturday, and then Big 12 after dark. So the schedule starts this week with BYU on Friday, and then after dark, go down 45 miles up north to Utah as they host an old Mountain West rival, TCU, 8:30 p.m. ESPN. Those were some great memories. Utah and TCU 2008, where Utah had a close battle with the Horned Frogs 13-10, and then TCU hosted them on College Game Day. I think it was 2010, or 2009, excuse me. And then that 2010 game, the blackout jerseys that Utah had, where they lost it. I think it was camo jerseys, but there's been some good matchups over the years with TCU and Utah. I don't know if those memories still carry over to this edition, but feels like, am I wrong in saying make or break game for Utah? They lose this one, man. Season could just get out of control.
Well, and on the flip side, TCU's kind of got nothing to lose because they've been so bad that Sonny Dykes is going, look, I got to figure out how to keep my job here. Let's just go in there and play loose. Utah's wounded. Let's go in and just let's embarrass them at their place. And it would be no more Big 12 thing than to have TCU show up at Utah and to put it on Utah, who is, trying to figure their lives out, man. I mean, it's a crazy time. All right, so those are your games in Week 8 for the Big 12. It just gets more and more exciting every week. Mitch, that's another show in the books here for us, man. It's been fun as usual.
How are we already at Week 8 coming up? It's crazy how fast the season is moving. We're already at the midway point, but it's been so much fun. We got to thank our sponsors. Brought to you by Macy's Grocery Store. Macy's, get the freshest fruits and vegetables from local farms and your favorite local brands. Macy's, happy shopping. Big thanks to you, Alex Kirry. Big thanks to our producer, Eric Cabrera. He does a fantastic job producing First and 12, and appreciate all of you listening to this show for making it possible. Without you, we wouldn't be doing this every week. So subscribe to the podcast, leave a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcast. We'll be back next week here on First and 12 on KSL News Radio and the KSL Sports Zone.